So going back to where we are in the game, I haven't explained everything yet. So we've kind of said that the jobs are important. They enable you to really perceive the game and technology, to open up those other job classes that we don't have available yet because you don't have the tools, and just quickly proceed down that line. Um, so while we're waiting for everything to proceed, because once he finishes the hoe, oh, he already did, we should probably upgrade someone so I can show you the farming mechanisms. So you want someone who's fast for this, but you want to save your really strong, spirited guy for your first soldier. You want to have someone good for that. Let's just go with him, I guess. I'll just go with this guy. So we can now enable get a farmer because you have the tool. We can't make any more trappers. We can't make any more craftsmen because we don't have the tool needed to make them. And so remember, the tools dictate this. So now that we've done a farmer and he's going to be promoted, we're going to be able to put down our field. And so I'm going to explain the fields right now. Let's give it a second to have him upgrade. See, there she is. And so now we're going to make a field. Let's make a couple of them. I usually just make a bunch at once because you're going to need all the food you can get. I usually make up to 5, and that's usually enough for uh, quite a lot of the game. I haven't actually had to build more than this. Um, so now we've done that, and we could have assigned the crop immediately, but I didn't do that. I just like to put them all and then finish it up. So all you have to do is kind of click on them. Um, there you go, click on them and you can choose the crop. Now you have a bunch of crops to choose from. You have turnips, carrots, corn, pumpkin, silkweed, bright, bellflower, and frostsnap flower. These two are just for show. Silkweed is for your weaver. Pumpkin, carrots, and turnips are quick growing crops, and you want to get quite a bit of those at the beginning of the game because you're going to need the food and you want it to get up and running quickly. So I usually do 3 of them being that, and then I also make 2 corn because that's what you want to have in the long run. Um, and so that's how you really designate your fields, and you'll see that they're already working on them, starting to build them. Um, while I'm here, I would suggest that you make 2 people in your colony farmers because you want to get that set up as quickly as possible. And I'm going to make him a farmer as well since I had them build 2 of these originally. And this is really the beginning steps you're going to make to your colony. You're going to cut the trees. You're going to start mining. You're going to designate an area to put your stuff. You're going to set up your first jobs, your craftsman immediately. Have him build the necessary tools. You're going to get your farmer set up and have him designate the farming areas, and you're going to put the crops in, and you're going to get 2 people to work on that. Also, you're going to get your trapper up immediately as well to start getting food. Now, I am going to continue set up a small designated area here for food. It is nice to have food isolated, as it can get confusing later on in the game if you don't do that. Because things start to get mixed up really badly. Quick here, you can just press none, and then you go food and drink, and this will keep all the food that we're getting from here in one location. Now, I don't remember what I did that for, but we should have a mixed item area here as well, because we're going to start getting a lot of mixed items, and it's best to have as many as possible. Have a place to put everything you need. So let's go on to building. We've already talked characters, jobs, and those have proceeded, and things are starting to move along in this village. Let's talk about buildings. So buildings, you click on design. You can either throw down a pre-built design. They have a dining hall, tiny cottage, shared sleeping quarters, etc. Or you can press design your custom building. You can do that here as well. And so let's do that. So here's your display to do for constructing a building. First you have your floor, you have your walls, you have your door, you have your window, you have your roof. And you have your free blocks, and you have just building a basic wall. This is for outside of that. So first thing first is you set up your floor, and you can click different kinds of materials, wood, and you can look how it looks. You can click stone. I wouldn't do stone now because stone takes a while to get. You really want to get something built up quickly. So first thing you do is you decide what you want and decide how big you want it to be. I was just making big at the beginning because it helps you put all your beds in one place and stop them from sleeping out here like this, which is dangerous. Uh, so first thing that you just set down your floor, and this will be the base of your building. So you look, it's kind of indented. They're going to dig a hole and they're going to put wood down on top of that, taken from here, of course, where we have a lot of wood. Um, and next, you just push down your walls, and it'll automatically place it just like that. And there you go, we have walls. Now, we could undo that and decide, hey, we want to do wooden walls, and that will happen. Um, the next step would be to throw on a roof. The roof is, you can pick your type of material, you throw it on there, and you can see the roof is only is a gable roof. It's not a hip roof, and you can change that at will by adding edges on each side. You can also make its height different by clicking on your max height, bringing it down like so. You can actually make it even flat if you get rid of all your angles and just make it flat like that, which I'm going to do. This enables you to put a second floor on later if you want. Though the game doesn't like it that much, you can do it. The next thing is a door. Do not forget to put in a door. And you have options with it, but don't forget to put in a door, because if you do, the building you can't put in later. The thing with this editor is that after you put in things, you can't do it anymore. It stops. It literally doesn't let you edit the building when it's done, and it warns you when you finish. But if you don't put in what you want right away, you're going to end up with a building that can't be edited, won't be accessible unless you like break bricks down and uh, and and put a ladder in, or just have a hole, which would break the purpose of doing this. So there's your building I'm going to make. I'm pretty much done. I put in windows, doors, etc. You have to remember to do that. You can put paths in later because you can be considered separate buildings, and I haven't dealt with them that often. And you can put these on top and mess around with the design a little bit. Like, for example, like that. We can make it kind of a really, really bad castle. And then you click on finish editing. So the tool, you just put down the parts and they'll just work like magic. Like I could stick another roof on here if I hadn't put those there already. So finish editing. And so it's going to remind me how much I'm going to need to do this. It's going to have an option to give it a name. Let's call it first. Variation on what they had at the beginning. And I can click build. And so build, I can save it as well, and this will allow me bring this up later if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. And that function has actually not been working all the time, but I'll click build. And it's going to be the warning, once you begin building the structure, it cannot be edited. Are you sure? Yes, might as well. And you can see out all these people, they were just gathering resources. I really should have built the building quicker and really proceeded, but it didn't really matter at this point. So there you go, the building's being built. This is what it's going to look like when it's done, but now it looks like this. And you can see they're starting to dig in there and start clearing it up for me. And so that's how you build a building. And you can see the building again by just clicking here, and you'll see it. Also, I'll show when the building's completed. You can see in the building, and this will change the walls. You can see, so if you're from this direction, you'll see these walls. If you're from this direction, you'll see these walls. But the ones facing you will be open, so you can see. And you can just get rid of all of them, so you can see the whole thing. Now, I've talked about how to build, but I haven't talked about how to place things in here. Now, furniture, beds, etc. You have to build them and you place them using this tool. And so right now I could place it in when the floor is done, but I don't have anything built, and that's because I haven't been working with my craftsman lately. But he builds all those things, and as he's leveled up, we can do everything here. Possibly we had some stone already. We should make a mason's hammer. This is for enable that mason's job. A shepherd's crook can be built. Weaver spindle can be built, but we don't have fiber, so that you have to get from traders or just randomly comes from animal kills, but kind of doesn't pop up automatically. So we saw before we added a door. We added two of these actually. You can delete these by just throwing them in the trash can. Make it a little bit cleaner. I will do that so we can have two there. I put a bunch of windows in, so I should probably build those. Um, and then your bed. Now this is the first important item you're going to have. The next one will be building your dining table and your chairs to work on it. They'll eat there and they'll be happier. Um, Additionally, an important thing is your shield. I build 2 of those to go with those swords I made earlier, if you didn't remember. And then a shitload of beds. You're going to need to house more people as they come in. That gives our craftsmen something to do finally. Um, After you finish something, you'll be able to place it, click here, and you'll be able to place it down. I'll show that a little bit later when it's available. Another option you saw here in the building thing was this ladder thing. So you saw these plateaus we had before, and I said that they couldn't come to get you. Well, they can if you build ladders, and you can access those places as well if you build a ladder. And how you do that is you just go over here, um, and you can set up a ladder, and they'll go there and build it. So you can access that point from now on. Now they will build their own ladders on here when they finish, and they'll build scaffolding which they'll use and they'll break down as they go about it. So going back to the farm, you can see takes quite a bit of time. You have to really wait on that. So let's go back to other aspects of the game. We've pretty much explained almost everything: the characters, citizens, the job, classes, the harvesting tools, the zoning, houses. We only have left is the fighting, defending, and then your basic town info. So let's go to town info first because we don't have anything to say about this yet. So you'll see that you have 4 things to look at in your town. And you have your net worth, you have your overall happiness, your food, and your shelter. Now shelter is based on your housing and having beds. Food is based on having having adequate quality food, of which I probably don't have any. We can check that by looking in inventory. Oh, I do. I have 1 fox jerky. Once again, that trapper has come in handy. As the crops have not come in. Your net worth is based on how much things you produce. You're producing more shields, you're producing more baskets, you're building more chests. As long as you keep on making things with your carpenter, making things with your masons, making things with your blacksmith, that's going to go up. And the reason why it's important to do that is because, well, it's a game, but also because to get more citizens, you need to have a high wealth, you need to have a high overall happiness, and you have to have a high food. And these will come together, and if you're not meeting certain margins, they're not going to give you another citizen, which I might be able to show you right now by looking at my notifications, which will show me a daily update. And you see, ooh, I didn't have enough food, I didn't have enough wealth, so I didn't get a 7th person. Boo-hoo. On his notifications as well, while we're here, you'll see merchants who come. You can look at if their information disappears. You can click on here and open up from here. If enemies are attacking, you click here and it'll bring you to where they are, and just useful for finding things in the game. So after you see your basic situation, you also have up here the number of citizens. You have the 1 craftsman, so this is your level of craft, and then 3, 8. This one is your number of soldiers. So you don't have any yet. So this is how that works. Here you have your inventory, showing you all the inventory you have in your city, in your town. And so you have wood, a lot of wood from the initial pickup, and you can see there's still a lot more over here. That's only the ones over here, mind you, and all the things you're building right there. Journal also is there, and this is just the things that are happening in your city. It says, oh, look, we're not having food, no food, no food, no food. They're not happy about not having food, obviously, and this can affect your morale, and I'm assuming at some point you can take away a citizen. Luckily myself, I've never actually suffered that, but I'm sure it happens. So you see now they're starting to build the pillars on the side, the ladders to go up there. They're building their supports. We still have on this building view, so we can't see it, but this is where they are right now. And that's about it for your town review. That's all you're really going to see there, and that's it. So the last thing is really your fighting and defending, your combat-based commands. So to really look at this, I'm first going to upgrade one of our people to become a soldier. Now that being said, this guy with a high body and high spirit is a perfect candidate for this. Now I would say that it's not necessarily the best idea to do this yet because it's not necessary in the early game because you'd rather have more workers. But for show, I'm going to do this and improve our first soldier. He's going to run over and he's going to grab a sword, which is over here with all the other materials we've been building recently. And hopefully, if the craftsman is finished, he will have finished a shield. And he probably has one done by now. So she's going to grab a shield next, and it's going to make her a much better defender than she would be otherwise. Um, so now that she's set up, let's show you how the fighting works. So we go into our fight screen, and you'll see these three buttons here. One is you have your parties, and so this is how you control smaller groups. You'll create a party, you'll make them less than the party, you'll be able to add a member, and it can be anyone. It can be non-soldiers, footmen, it can be farmer, it can be carpenter, and they'll run and fight or do what you tell them as a group. I sometimes make a civilian group so I can make sure they get out of harm's way or to overwhelm somebody. But for now, I'm just going to make it be this one soldier so I can control him more directly. So you don't need to actually keep this window open. You can command him from here, attack orders and rally and defense order. And so the attack order will just give him a command to run to that spot and in a designated circle around it, fight. Now, be careful here because that designated circle is a circle. Once the enemy gets out of that, they'll just run back to this flag and forget about them. At which point you should probably cancel the plan, so just go after them. Also, while you have this activated, they will not go back for food, they will not go back for rest, and that can affect how well they fight. The second one is a rally and defend order, and this will send a place. This will send a place where they'll go to defend. That's about it for the party, and you can affect this back and forth. Like I said before, you can make a all-civilian party, and this will help you to manage your citizens better. Another option you can do, besides directly controlling them, is to just have your town defense, and this makes everyone stops what they're doing and are vigilantly watching for intruders, and they'll just start attacking them on sight. But this obviously stops your whole economy. No one else is working anymore, and is not a good idea. So you press it again to get rid of it, one press to start it, one press to get rid of it. Maybe you couldn't hear me, one press to get it, one press to get rid of it. And finally you have loot. And this is for stealing items from, I guess, multiplayer predicted in the future, or from enemy camps, which will appear over time as you progress in the game. So that's how the fighting defense works. Be careful, like I said, to once you send an attack plan out or you send a defensive order out, that you get rid of it if they're starting to get through that and they run outside that area. Otherwise, they'll just leave it there, and the enemy goblins and stuff will get to your base and start killing civilians, which is not ideal. This is where I'm going to end the video. Taking you to get a look at my town that's a little bit further along. This is where you can get if you keep on working and you get the basics down. As you can see, I have 5 houses, I have a tower, a big mine, I have a wall-developed goblin base, which is not a good thing, but I'll talk more about that in the next episode. The last video in the guide. I'll be talking about some final notes, some extra details, and a lot of things I've talked about that I didn't finish covering. I also have a small battle sequence where the flag problem will become very apparent, and I just hope you come and watch the last video if you need any more tips on anything. Please like, subscribe, and give me comments if you have any suggestions. My name is Kaminari2012. Matanet.